attack. We getting scrutinized in the media. For what? Loving on the people? Showing them that they matter to us? We going through the fires for y'all. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
Motion to terminate Keith Freeman.
Henyard announced his termination last night.
And we're just going into her quote here because, again, maybe some of her trustees are finally starting to fall off bit by bit. It's just taking a little bit longer than expected, which is crazy. Today, I'm breaking my silence and speaking out against the Thornton Township Supervisor and Mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard, who I believe has engaged in unethical and predatory behavior throughout her tenure. Man, I gotta use this. Wow. Wow. Okay, and this is Carmen Carlisle, okay, who wrote this emailed statement to this.
Defunding the police isn't the answer. What do you plan to do with your resources? Is it less money or more money to police departments?
Well, it's more money towards the areas of needs, right? And as I mentioned before, we're working to double the amount of young people that we hire, not just for summer jobs, but for year-round positions.
I got some advice. If you can, move out of Chicago right now.
Controversial mayor in all of America. So this mayor named Tiffany Henyard is the mayor of a place called Dalton, Illinois. And essentially every single resident in Dalton wants Tiffany out of office. This is mainly because Tiffany's very controversial use of taxpayer money. For starters, Tiffany has a full security detail that goes everywhere with her in the town. This security detail is estimated to be about $250K a year. In addition to security, Tiffany also uses taxpayer funds to do things like buying billboards with her face and name on it. She also puts her name all over government vehicles and buildings throughout the town. And she even has her own 2024 calendar. And of course, she put her own birthday.
Her own people's, from her own town's bank accounts, okay? And it's wild, right? Millions of dollars. What I find really interesting about this situation is that it seems like the rest of the world who's been following this is following it because they all understood the assignment. They all understood what was going on. Now, it seems like one other board of trustees, okay, finally got the memo. Yeah, I think she finally
push anybody that has that. If someone uses my name to push their charity, or if you say this is Tiffany t-shirt, people gonna buy it. Because right now, consider what? Clickbait. People make money off of my name by views. So you just take my name.
You said you don't have a foundation.
I do not. And that's why I tell everybody, go do your research. I'm not on anything.
So when we see all of this back and forth, when we see this going back and forth, have you
no, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
Accused of using taxpayer money to fund her lavish lifestyle. Then when the city council unanimously voted for an investigation, she vetoed it. Then last month, a member of her staff accused her of covering up an essay that happened on one of their business trips. Then this week, after a city council meeting showed overwhelmingly that the people want her to step down and resign, the board of trustees has appointed the former Chicago mayor, Lori Lightfoot, to lead the investigation into the essay. If you're not from the Chicago area, you may have no idea who she is and ask, why is this a big deal? Because Lori Lightfoot was an awful mayor, corrupt mayor. She lied about everything.
And I've seen this happen before with school districts. I've seen this happen before with city councils. Mm-hmm. Have you called in the state to come mediate?
Did I call in the state?
Have you called up? Have you reached out to the state to come in and mediate what's going on here? So I've seen school boards where you have lots of drama, and Texas Education Agency, comes in and deals with that. You're having these issues there. Have you reached out to state lawmakers? Have you reached out to state representatives?
The wreck situation going on in a small village outside of Chicago, thanks to this mayor, Tiffany Henyard. And with George Santos leaving the house, this is the new funniest, most corrupt politician in the United States of America. I learned about Tiffany today when I read an article about the ordinance she's putting in that states if she loses her re-election to be mayor, the mayor's salary will be decreased from $225,000 to $25,000. But if she wins, it will stay the same. When I read that, I realized I had to learn everything about this woman. And as it turns out, the 90% pay cut doesn't even crack the top 10 of the most corrupt things that this woman has done in a short year that she's been the mayor of Dalton, Illinois. If you're on a highway near Dalton, Illinois, you will see
into her privately owned cancer awareness charity, which you cannot do. And in one of those investigations that the chief of police was investigating, it stated here in this tweet, and shout out to this person for tweeting this, they said Mayor Tiffany Henyard is one of the most corrupt ever. She actually hired a child offender, overpays her police officers. She overpays her police officers to be her security, which what do you need that much security for? You're a mayor of a town with about 20,000 people. One of the officers was paid $13,000 in 2 weeks for 300 hours of overtime, because nobody believes that. Nobody believes that.
The village is not applied with these statutory requirements since fiscal year 2010. There's no immediate financial report available after 2021, and no financial statements after 2021. So what that means is the information provided has not been thoroughly audited.
Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard continues to face mounting scrutiny as more details about her administration emerge. Henyard's rare interactions with the press have been overshadowed by statements from her defense attorney, who recently spoke to WGN News, claiming that her safety was jeopardized when security personnel were removed by her assistant, Keith Freeman. This comes amid rumors that Freeman is cooperating with an investigation into Henyard's conduct. Henyard has faced multiple controversies, including accusations of misusing taxpayer funds. A report commissioned by the Dalton Village Board from former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot detailed a sharp decline in Dalton's general fund from a positive balance of $5.61 million in 2022 to a deficit of $3.65 million in 2024. Lightfoot's report also revealed that Henyard made questionable personal purchases using village credit cards at retailers like Amazon and Walgreens, along with alleged use of taxpayer funds for home renovations and repaving her mother's driveway. Further adding to the allegations is Henyard's spending on a $220,000 trip to Austin, Texas, where she and her aides reportedly indulged in lavish accommodations and dining, all on the village's dime. This has prompted one of her most vocal critics, Trustee Jason House, to announce his candidacy for mayor in the 2025 election, directly linking Henyard's financial decisions to Dalton's deepening economic woes. Local business owners, including Lawrence Gardner, who owns a trucking company, claim they have been unfairly targeted by the village. Gardner alleges that after refusing to donate to the village, he was falsely accused of selling liquor without a license. He successfully contested the charges in court, but the case highlights a pattern of what many believe to be retaliatory actions by Henyard's administration. In addition to financial mismanagement, several former employees and community members accuse Henyard of fostering a hostile environment and using her power to retaliate against dissenters. One former trustee even alleged that her property was vandalized after she criticized Henyard. Henyard's rise to power was initially seen as historic. Elected in 2021 as the youngest and first female mayor of Dalton, and later as the supervisor of Thornton Township, she was once seen as a promising leader. However, her tenure has been plagued by allegations of mismanagement, extravagant spending, and a toxic work environment. Despite these controversies, Henyard continues to assert her innocence and claims the accusations against her are politically motivated. Public frustration is growing, with residents and trustees calling for more transparency and accountability. At recent board meetings, the tension has been palpable, and trustees have implemented tighter financial controls in an attempt to curb what they see as reckless spending. Trustee Kiana Balor criticized Henyard's behavior at these meetings, likening it to a mockery of the system, especially after Henyard appeared dressed as fictional characters like Nino Brown, further diminishing the seriousness of the governance issues facing Dalton. Trustee Carmen delivered a scathing critique of Henyard, accusing her of using her dual roles as mayor and township supervisor to manipulate residents, employees, and vendors for personal gain. The accusations point to years of alleged corruption that has drained the village's resources and left Dalton's finances in shambles. Adding to the controversy is a report that surfaced regarding a Section 8 property owned by Henyard, which had severe mold and water damage, rendering it uninhabitable. Despite this, Henyard allegedly continued to collect housing subsidies, raising further questions about her ethics and management. The conflict between Henyard and the village board reached a peak when the board filed a lawsuit against her in 2022, accusing her of corruption and mismanagement. In response, Henyard locked dissenting trustees out of their offices, a move that symbolized the deep division within Dalton's leadership. For many residents, the controversies surrounding Henyard are a painful betrayal. Once seen as a symbol of hope and progress, she is now viewed by many as a leader who has prioritized her own gain over the well-being of the community. Public meetings have become increasingly emotional, with residents demanding Henyard's resignation and a thorough investigation into her handling of township funds. The growing discontent has led to calls for Henyard's resignation, but she remains defiant, insisting that she will prove her innocence. As the investigation into her conduct continues, the future of Dalton remains uncertain. With public trust severely eroded and financial troubles deepening, it is unclear whether the village will be able to recover from the damage inflicted under her leadership. As the situation continues to unfold, the demand for ethical leadership and transparency in Dalton becomes more urgent. Many hope that a change in leadership will restore stability to the community, but the path to rebuilding trust is likely to be long and difficult.